What do you need to know about registering for a COVID-19 vaccine clinic in Joplin?
President Biden targets the Trump administration's immigration policies. I'm Natalie Brand with his latest series of executive orders, plus how they set the stage for a larger debate in Congress.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Joplin Health Department holds its first vaccine clinic, but slots filled up quickly. This is KOAM News at 5. Officials say they had 252 vaccines to distribute today. The vaccines were not ones the department issued. They were shipped from the Jasper County Health Department. Joplin health officials say right now the vaccine clinics are by appointment only.
So as a clinic comes open, they can register and schedule off of our website. If they are unable to register on the website, there is a phone-in option also.
Tonight at 6, we're going to hear more from the Joplin Health Department on what options are available, and we'll hear from a local pharmacist on why they're having issues getting vaccine to distribute. Chiefs fans at Carl Junction schools are showing their support for the team by celebrating Tyreek Tuesday. It refers to the Chiefs wide receiver Tyreek Hill, who's nicknamed Cheetah. So the students dressed up in cheetah print and Chiefs gear. Several students said they'd be pretty upset, maybe even cry if the Chiefs were to lose, but they don't think that's going to happen.
I think we're going to win by at least a touchdown. And Patrick Mahomes is going to throw at least 4 touchdowns.
Tomorrow's Spirit Day in Carl Junction is back-to-back Wednesday, celebrating the Chiefs making the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. Be sure to watch the KOAM Morning News tomorrow to catch an interview with former NFL referee Larry Nemmers. He's from Springfield and officiated 3 Super Bowls during his career. Our own Jesse Irwin is talking to him about his career and what to watch for heading into the big game. Again, that's going to be tomorrow on the KOAM Morning News. Check in now with Nick Kelly for our first look at the weather. Nick.
Hey, good evening, Dal. We kept things pretty quiet for today, and temperatures at least made it back near 50 degrees as skies went from patchy fog and mist this morning, partly sunny by the afternoon, and turning mostly sunny for the rest of the afternoon as the evening gets started. We're keeping quiet for tomorrow as well. We'll keep an eye on our next storm system, already getting its act together off to our northwest. That will be the first of many to roll in by Thursday. In the meantime, though, if you're north of Joplin, a little cooler than the rest. 41 in Fort Scott, 48 Carthage, 43 in Stockton. Meantime, it's 53 in Commerce, 55 in Veneta. So quite a contrast in temperatures, but everyone's headed toward the same ballpark as far as temperatures go during the evening and certainly by tomorrow morning. We'll fall through the 40s, 30s, down to about the freezing mark with quiet skies for tonight. We'll break down what's to come over the next several days here in just a bit, Dal.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks, Nick. Senators passed a procedural vote today starting debate on a budget resolution that sets in motion a way for congressional Democrats to approve President Biden's $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief package, with or without Republican support. The Republican proposal is worth only $600 billion. Both sides acknowledge there are areas of common ground, but the White House press secretary says the president will not settle for a package that fails to meet the moment. Pete Buttigieg is our nation's new transportation secretary after easily passing today's Senate confirmation vote. Buttigieg's task was advancing President Biden's wide-ranging agenda of rebuilding the nation's infrastructure and fighting climate change. Buttigieg is the first openly gay person confirmed to a U.S. cabinet post. President Biden today will once again focus on immigration, signing 3 executive orders reversing the previous administration's policies. One order sets up a task force to look into reuniting families once separated at the southern border. The president's actions come the same day the Senate will vote on his nominee to lead the Department of Homeland Security. Reporter Natalie Brand is at the White House with more.
President Biden is taking aim at his predecessor's immigration policies with his latest executive actions.
Our country is safer, stronger, and more prosperous with a fair, safe, and orderly immigration system.
The president's first executive order will set up a task force to try and locate, identify, and reunite migrant families separated at the southern border.
It's emotional for a lot of people for understandable reasons, and we need to find out first where all these kids are.
A second action will mandate a review of the Trump administration's Remain in Mexico policy that required asylum seekers to wait outside the U.S. while their cases were adjudicated. A third order calls for a review of restrictions made to the legal immigration system over the past 4 years. Tuesday's orders come on top of several other immigration-related executive actions, including a pause on wall construction at the southern border and measures to protect DACA recipients.
The executive orders today won't change anything immediately.
Sarah Pierce of the Migration Policy Institute says the Biden administration has set the stage for a larger debate on immigration in Congress.
If any president was going to usher immigration reform through Congress, I would like to think it was one who was espousing unity.
Some Senate Republicans have already voiced opposition to President Biden's immigration policies and to his Homeland Security pick, Alejandro Mayorkas.
He does not deserve Senate confirmation to lead Homeland Security.
Hours after the minority leader's criticism, the Senate voted to confirm Mayorkas as the first Latino DHS secretary. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham and Democratic Senator Dick Durbin are working on a narrow bipartisan bill to address immigration issues, particularly so-called dreamers who were brought to the U.S. as children. The FBI says the serving of a search warrant as part of a child exploitation case turned deadly when the suspect opened fire on agents in South Florida. 2 agents were killed and 3 others were hurt. The Bureau identified those killed as Special Agent Daniel Alphen and Special Agent Laura Schwarzenberger. The FBI says at some point during the standoff, the suspect was also killed. A Moscow court orders Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny to prison for more than 2.5 years on charges that he violated the terms of his probation while he was recuperating in Germany from nerve agent poisoning. Navalny, who is the most prominent critic of President Vladimir Putin, had earlier denounced the proceedings as a vain attempt by the Kremlin to scare millions of Russians into submission. Still ahead, we're going to check out a prehistoric find made by a 4-year-old dinosaur enthusiast. And next in Health Watch, researchers are learning more about the connection between COVID-19 and blood clots.
Call now.
College football players are more likely to suffer concussions during preseason practices than during the regular season. A new study published in JAMA Neurology found that nearly half of concussions happened before the full season even started, and most occurred at practice rather than at games. Blood clots are a major problem for a lot of patients with COVID-19. If you develop one, your disease becomes much more difficult to treat. In one recent study, 31% of COVID patients in the ICU had experienced complications related to blood clots. But now researchers are discovering new insights about why the clots form. If you have COVID-19, there's a lot to worry about. Blood clots are one major concern for severely ill patients. In a person with the virus, these dangerous clots can cause a stroke, restrict blood flow in the lungs, and impair oxygen exchange.
We don't really understand why it's happening.
But a new study offers some clues. Investigators found that half of patients hospitalized with COVID-19 were positive for at least one autoantibody. They believe certain autoantibodies in the blood attack cells and trigger clots in arteries, veins, and vessels. The next step is to test whether removing or blocking these antibodies could help protect against clots. You can help prevent clots in general by avoiding smoking, staying active, and maintaining a healthy weight.
If you can defeat the virus, then the complications from the virus will resolve.
Dr. Castro emphasizes that wearing a mask, washing your hands often, and practicing social distancing are your best defenses. Scientists say they also want to figure out why some people with COVID produce these antibodies and others do not. They're also currently studying how long these antibodies remain in circulation after someone recovers from the COVID-19 virus. Mild defects in brain cells may lead to autism, according to researchers in Philadelphia. The study showed the defects occur in the mitochondria, or batteries of those cells, which produce most of the body's energy. By studying the defects in mice, scientists found they led to repetitive behavior, anxiety, and social challenges. Working outdoors may lower a woman's risk of breast cancer after age 50. Exposure to more sunlight boosts vitamin D levels, which is known to help prevent cancer and infection. Research published by Occupational and Environmental Medicine found women who worked outdoors for 20 years or longer had a 17% lower risk of being diagnosed with breast cancer. Nick Kelly is next with his complete forecast, and a little bit later, the Department of Defense signs a deal for rapid at-home COVID-19 tests to be produced in the U.S. The KOAM.
After we had to deal with some areas of mist and fog this morning, it was nice to see the sunshine returning. We took advantage of it to get temperatures as warm as they could before we hit sunset this evening. Case in point, certainly better than yesterday for sure, with highs yesterday topping out mainly in the lower 40s, mid-20s this morning, and so far Joplin Regional warmest we've gone is 50 degrees. Not too bad considering how cold it was to start the day out. And we're still holding at 50 across the city of Joplin right now with a calm breeze and the humidity not too bad at 41%. Looking across the rest of the Joplin Metro, there's actually a contrast in temperatures. You go from 46 in Pittsburgh, 49 in Oronogo, to 53 in Seneca, 55 in Miami and Fairland, checking in at 57. And you definitely see the contrast across the entire four-state region. Lower 40s, that's the best we could do for Fort Scott and Nevada at the 5 o'clock hour, while we're at 56 in Grove and 57 down in Jay, south of Grand Lake. But everyone's going to venture down toward the same ballpark in terms of temperatures for the overnight hours ahead of us. This evening, though, we'll fall through the 40s, down to the mid-30s by midnight. I'm thinking lower 30s for overnight lows. The skies stay pretty quiet. Thinking mostly clear skies throughout the night, which is what we're seeing right now. Maybe a little cloud cover by morning, but we're keeping things calm and quiet here like we have all day long. Our next storm system, though, we see a couple of cold fronts lining up to our north and to our west. One of those will start to head our way by the time Thursday rolls around, with some rain chances trying to sneak in. But the bigger picture at the jet stream level upstairs shows nice upper level ridge, keeping us quiet for yet another day tomorrow before we see the upper low coming out of the Pacific Northwest start to change things up by Thursday. So for the rest of the evening, nothing to worry about weather-wise. We'll keep skies mostly clear, maybe a little bit of cloud cover by morning before we get the morning drive going, but temperatures with the light southeast breeze of 5 to 10 means we only drop down to about 32 for overnight lows. Looking at the rest of Wednesday, looking pretty good. Partly to mostly sunny skies, a stronger south wind, especially by the afternoon, pushing us to 52 by lunchtime. I think we can hit 57 degrees in Joplin for tomorrow afternoon. In fact, everyone's fair game to go into the mid to upper 50s. So Wednesday, overall, not looking so bad. But let's break down how the rest of the 7-day period is shaping up. Again, tomorrow, it's all about that upper ridge on top of us, keeping us nice and quiet. Temperatures above normal in the 50s. Then here comes our next storm system on Thursday. A front at the surface brings in rain by late Thursday morning into Thursday afternoon. But depending on how fast the colder air behind that front wants to roll in, we may have to watch for a little bit of snow trying to mix in, something Doug will certainly chime in on when he joins us at 6. For now, though, we'll keep it quiet for Friday, highs in the 40s. Another quick system, sticking with Doug's pattern, will bring in some rain and snow chances on Saturday, but still a good blast of colder air, certainly still set for Sunday, with highs on that day only seeing them topping out in the mid-20s. Then, going into early next week, sticking with Doug's pattern, we'll watch for another storm system by Tuesday. So it does start to get a bit active as we go into next week especially. But 57 staying nice and quiet for tomorrow. 53 with rain to start Thursday. We'll watch and see if we can get some snow in here. But dry Friday, then we'll definitely turn colder by the time we head toward the rest of the weekend, and certainly Super Bowl Sunday, Dow.
Yeah, an overnight low of 9 Saturday night. That's pretty cold.
Yeah, definitely want to keep warm by then.
I guess. Thanks, Nick. Coming up, we're going to hear from a 4-year-old girl who discovered a 220 million-year-old footprint. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Kendall Ashford served in the U.S. Navy during World War II. The Iola, Kansas native was stationed in Japan and the Philippines. And we salute Seaman First Class Kendall Ashford, a 4-state hero. To learn about lots of other heroes from all across this area, or to submit a hero of your own anytime, and we all do know veterans. You just go to our website, you see it there. It's KOAMnewsnow.com. Rapid COVID-19 home tests get a big boost from the Biden administration. The White House says the Department of Defense inked a more than $230 million deal with Loom, the maker of rapid tests. The agreement will allow it to open a U.S. factory and produce 19 million tests per month. The tests are the first COVID-19 rapid tests that don't require a prescription. Google has agreed to pay $2.6 million to settle racial and gender bias claims to more than 5,500 employees and past job applicants. The tech giant's accused of discriminating against female engineers and Asians in California and Washington state between 2014 and 2017. The company agreed to the settlement without acknowledging any wrongdoing. An incredible dinosaur discovery made by a four-year-old girl, 4 years old, walking with her family on a beach in the UK. That little girl found a dinosaur footprint preserved in mud that's more than 220 million years old. Reporter Charlie D'Agata has the story.
Is that a T-Rex? Yeah?
Yeah, that's my favorite dinosaur.
4-year-old Lily Wilder loves her dinosaurs, and on a walk on a beach in the UK last month, she spotted a very unusual footprint, just about the size of her own hand.
We're just literally walking along the beach, doing the usual thing, looking for shells and what have you. And Lily said, "Daddy, look at this." And there it was, this amazing footprint.
At first, the family wasn't sure what she'd found, so her mother uploaded photos to a Facebook group dedicated to identifying fossils, and someone there connected her with paleontologist Cindy Howells.
What did you first think when you saw this example?
I was blown away by it. It's just such an amazing footprint. It's the best I've ever seen from this area.
In fact, the beach in South Wales is known for footprints from crocodile-like reptiles that lived alongside some of the earliest dinosaur species 220 million years ago.
But this one was obviously left in slightly harder mud, and you can see the detail of all of the joints and the claws, so you can get a real feel for the real shape of the foot.
Scientists say they don't yet know which dinosaur made the print, but they estimate it was slender, only about 2.5 feet tall, and walked on its 2 hind feet. The museum hopes to create a 3D image of the print to study and send to scientists around the world so they can learn more about how dinosaurs walked. Charlie D'Agata, CBS News, London.
UK scientists say they hope to identify the type of dinosaur that left the print by comparing it to other footprints of identified dinosaurs in North America. It'll be on display in the National Museum, Cardiff, about 4 miles from the beach where it was found. Final check of the forecast next. The CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6, an alleged assault victim dies of her injuries and a suspect is charged. Plus, we're going to hear more about the process of registering for our vaccine clinic in Joplin. And a Missouri teacher has some suggestions for celebrating the Super Bowl if your normal party plans are canceled because of the pandemic. Stay with us. CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Turning 41 is not usually considered a milestone birthday, but for an African penguin named E.T., every birthday is a reason to celebrate. The Metro Richmond Zoo in Virginia, where E.T. lives, says she's the oldest African penguin in the world, as far as they can tell. The birthday is important because African penguins usually don't live anywhere near that long. The average lifespan is around 15 to 20 years, but they can live longer at zoos. E.T. has outlived 2 of her mates and has a current one named Einstein. Zoo officials say E.T. is in good health, considering her age. Doesn't look a day over 39. Way to go, E.T. Let's check back with Nick now for a final look at the weather.
We're keeping quiet and cold for tonight, Dal, but back to 57 with partly to mostly sunny skies tomorrow. Rain chances Thursday, then we'll see a stronger front with rain and snow Saturday, and a cold Super Bowl Sunday. Doug will have a recap of the forecast coming up at 6, Dal.
We'll see you right back here at 6. Let's take care of ourselves and each other.